On the Moneymaker series today, we have my dear friend Cate Batchelor, who runs her own photography business, joined phase one of the Self Made Mastermind, and we're here to hear all of your success, Cate. Every little mindset shift. And what we were just talking about before I hit record was the fact that, yes, Cate experienced her first $15,000 month, which is huge when you're a photographer. I mean, that's some good money. And that's what everybody wants to hear. And that's why I called this thing the Moneymaker series, because making money is part of the game. But what I think we often overlook and what people don't want to read on a website, they just want to see like, Cate doubled her income or whatever, is the actual mental shifts it takes to bring in more money. So welcome, Cate. So excited to have you here.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm pretty stoked to be here.
So let's talk about these money shifts and the mindset shifts. So you had two really big mindset shifts, I think, like just your idea about money. How did that change while you were in the coaching program?
Oh, for sure. I mean, so I went from being the photographer that was living paycheck to paycheck, questioning myself at every turn, not wondering if I was charging enough. Sometimes I'd be charging too little. And then when I would actually try to charge more, for my worth, I would have serious doubts. And then if I didn't book a job, it was a reflection of my own self-worth and like essentially the couples, rejecting me. And so that's just kind of how I started going into self-made. And then from your teachings and everything, it was just this mindset shift to a place of, okay, if somebody doesn't book me, that's not a reflection on me or my worth. And that's just not the right job for me where I want to go, where I want my business to go. And it's just been a whole new way for me to look at the world. I used to be a very negative person. I used to carry around a lot of negative energy with me, and I could never understand why things just kept being shit and hard.
Yeah.
And when you came on the calls and you're just like, so we're going to learn how to manifest and we're going to do this. And I'm just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like more of this. But then you actually taught us how to do it. And that was the craziest part to me because I'd never before seen it in action and seen the behind the scenes of like, oh, you're actually like mapping out steps to get to that manifestation. And then, you're looking for the signs once you've kind of done those things and have put that energy out there to have, the universe respond to you. And I have to tell you a little story, Darcy. So this happened literally maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was in the car and I was driving back from Santa Barbara, exhausted, the end of the 2021 season. And I was talking to my friend about how cliquey the wedding industry is and how I just can't seem to get in with certain planners that I want to work with. And I remember shouting to her, like, I just need the universe to give me a sign. Like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing or not? And then I kid you not, the next day, two planners that I have been dying to work with, one reached out with a couple to book me, and I booked them for this April. And then the other one asked for my pricing sheet, and she's like, I want to recommend you to my clients. You're amazing. All of this. Literally the next morning, within 1 hour of each other, I got those messages.
That is amazing.
So,
What we learned from that is the universe loves ultimatums. No. Show me how to get it. They're like, fine. I love that. And one of the first lessons we learn in Self-Made is how to look for signs, which is, I agree with you that when I would hear, when even still to this day, when I hear about manifestation, I'm like, okay, there's talking about it and then there's actually teaching it. Most people can talk about it. They don't know how to teach it. They just think like, oh, just sit on my couch and think positively. And the thing I want is going to knock on my door. If that were happening, then I would have a hot UPS guy knocking on my door for sex every day, but it doesn't happen. You can't
same girl, same.
You can't just sit on the couch and think positive thoughts. And I think that's where some of the biggest misconceptions and what you really started doing, what I noticed about you is you started having this awareness of one, you have such a passionate spirit and you're such a fighter for justice. And I remember like we even had this one call where there was I don't know if I can talk about this or not, but there was like somebody you worked with, a man who just kept mansplaining, putting you down, all of these things. And you would come back and you just, you're so passionate, like, I'm going to cut his balls off or whatever we were saying. I don't think you said that, but the feeling was there. And we really had to work on like shifting, not accepting bad things happening to us, but shifting into our own empowerment and realizing that you had a choice. Because so often people are in situations and they think, I am stuck in this situation. This is my job. How can I leave this job? And it's like, let's give you a choice that you could leave this, or you could do this, or you could have this conversation and really have that empowerment. And I saw that with you so much in the coaching. It was just like every single class, I saw more and more things activate and light up in your own empowerment. And that was just unbelievable. You really showed up and put the hard work in. Like
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a challenge. I remember maybe I think it was like week 4 or 5 when we're talking, or it was early on, we're talking about our superpowers. And I remember just having such a block being able to think about what I was good at or how I was serving my clients. And I'm just like, I don't know, I just take good pictures. But, that's not true. We do so much more than that. And it was you being able to open up this new mindset for me of abundance and be able to see things in a different way that led me to be able to step into my power and really actually see what it is that I do for my clients and step into the fact that like, oh, I am an expert in this. Oh, I do know what I'm talking about. This is how I provide value for my clients. And it was those steps and being able to, communicate that better, because I was just in such a, I don't know, hire me because I'm good kind of thing with my clients. And it's like, well, that's not helping anybody. So it was putting in all of that work first as the groundwork and the foundation that then led to me being able to do, your magic offerings where we talk about my pricing and my structure. And I was able to create pricing that really reflected what it is that I do for my clients. And honestly, that's what led to me having my first ever 15K month. Like it was really all of that mindset shift, the groundwork, everything else that needed to come down first. And to be able to look at a quote and not place any judgment on that number. Yeah. Because that was definitely something that was my relationship with money, was looking at it as good or bad, or like this number means that I'm not worth it, or this number means that I am worth it. And so, that's still a daily practice that I do. But it's definitely leaps and bounds from where I was. And just being able to look at money as like, oh, that's energy coming into me because I put the creativity out there, and being able to look at even just, my fridge broke and it was really expensive to fix it. And I'm like, oh, but I get to pay for this because I'm in a position that I have the money for it. And it wasn't a negative experience. It was, okay, I'm going to give you money and then I get a fridge that works again. Like, it just, it really just, I feel it opened up a lot for me in terms of being grateful for what I have, what's coming in, and just really the stepping stones for taking that to the next level.
Yeah, I agree.
Because and you say it, you can't raise your prices. You can't get to the next level unless you're grateful for what you already have. And unless you're grateful for the money that you're already bringing in, there's no way you're going to be able to step it up to the next level. And that really stuck with me.
And like truly grateful, because I think people try to fake gratitude. Like, yeah, I love where I am. Get me to the next place. And it's like,
and then they're like, but no buts. I just am grateful.
Yeah, it really is. It really is that kind of like I always say, not taking your business personally. If you guys haven't read the 4 agreements, one of the first agreements is don't take things personally. And that's what happens with money and pricing. And when, I once had somebody, I gave them my pricing for a maternity session and they're like, that's ridiculous. I'll pay you this much. And they were like, I'll pay you 150. This was several years ago. And I realized like, I wanted to get so mad and like, how dare they don't know all that it takes. I'm a professional. And I was just like, that's just their thing. Like that has nothing. And I was like, oh, thank you, but there's no negotiation on the price. So good luck. And they're like, can you refer anybody else to me? I'm like, there's no way I would refer somebody to you for $150.
Yeah.
And you can get offended at me by saying that. And I said that. I was like, there's no way I would give anybody a job for $150. Like that's kind of insulting. And maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I just, it was something that like, it was a friend of a friend. So I was just like, this is really inappropriate. I said it in a really nice way, but like, I do not know anybody who would work for that little. And, so it's really about not taking that seriously though, and not taking offense if somebody comes back and lowballs you or somebody ghosts you or something like that. We get so offended. They're rejecting me, just like you said. And if we can keep neutral, if we can keep our emotions out of it, and we can keep vibrating at what we're worth and what energy we're putting out, then as Matthew McConaughey says, I don't ever quote Matthew McConaughey. I never have. Here's the first time, everybody. He says the arrow attracts the target, meaning when you're in alignment and when you're that arrow, you will attract what your target is. The arrow attracts the target. So whatever you are, and he said that about winning an Oscar for Best Actor, because how many people actually do that? One a year. And in 50 years, that's only 50 people in billions and billions of people to get this one accolade. And he wrote down when he was like, 18, that he was going to win an Oscar for Best Actor. And as he says, like the arrow attracted the target. I knew where I was going and I just was an energetic match for it. And so you're becoming an energetic match for 100K.
Yeah. Which is pretty exciting. Yeah, that's my goal for this year. And I'm already a quarter of the way there. And we're 2 weeks into January? Like,
holy crap.
I'm a little flabbergasted. I'm like, maybe I need to up this goal. I'm gonna review it in June. But yeah, and I went from averaging maybe 3.5K per wedding to now 7K. And it's just flowing and it's just easy. Like my last few discovery calls have been really wonderful. I send them my pricing and they're just immediately like, yes, that one, please. And like,
I love it.
Yay, this is wonderful. But I could never, ever have gotten here without all of the mindset work.
Yeah.
Like I can't stress that enough. And it's funny now that when I see other people and I talk to other photographers or business owners, I'm just like, man, you really need to go see Darcy. Like, yeah, you don't change your life.
Thank you. It really is mindset with like the strategies of pricing and offerings and making sure you're really aware of what you bring to the table, because I think so many creatives are not aware of just how much they're bringing to the table.
Yeah. And I think we also just tend, because it's our art, it's our craft, we tend to really, it's a part of us going into this work. So I think it's very easy for us to associate, success and failure with our self-worth. And, what actually is success and failure? Stop thinking about it in terms of that and thinking about it in terms of, is this going to get me where I want to go ultimately? And so it's just been a really crazy, wonderful ride that I never thought that I would ever take. Yeah. And I've got, tarot cards and crystals now. And
what? Who are you becoming?
Right? And it's just, and I realized that, the whole like affirmation thing and all of that, it never really resonated with me until I took Self Made and just, the prayers that you talk about and the self-love and the healing that comes. It's just been, it's hard for me to put into words, but it's just been a total shift for me. And just being able to find what works for me. And, you talk about playing and how that's such an integral part of, setting goals and getting there, because if you're not listening to your inner child or just playing, you're really hurting yourself in the long run.
Yeah. You'll stop working and being productive because you force that inner child in you to work so hard for so long without a break. I keep a picture of me at before, and I keep it right by it's like one of my favorite pictures of me. It was before some kind of hard things happened in my life and in my family's life. So when I look at that picture, I'm like, that was like the untraumatized Darcy. Like that was, and she's standing really confident and strong. She's 4 years old. I love her so much. I've given her a separate name than me. I learned this from a coach of mine. So she has a name. And so I ask her, I look at her often like, okay, I know I'm working really hard. I'm going to give you time in a minute. What do you want to do? And like yesterday, she's like, I want to teach Alfie, my dog, how to do a twirl because he's really good at tricks. So we trained him for like an hour. It is the fucking cutest thing watching Alfie do this. Oh my gosh. He's just, and we feed him, and I'm speaking in like but I really like look at her and talk to her. And I do at least 1 or 2 things a day for her for at least an hour, hopefully more on the weekends. She has full days where she's like, we cannot think about anything adult. Like, I don't want you to think about work. I don't want you to think about taxes. If anybody, and ironically, those are always the days my accountants email me, and I'm like, I can't think about it today. But
they just know.
I know.
Yeah, you keep a picture of you. I keep a Dungeons and Dragons player's handbook next to me.
I love it. Well, Cate, thanks for coming on and sharing your story. I predict that you will surpass 100K this year. I think you can get to 150 with some more shifts on what you're offering. I'm a good predictor. I predict your, 10K weddings happening in the next few months, and you stepping into getting turning the planners away because you're too booked.
All right, I'm claiming this energy.
The arrow attracts the target. So
yes.
Write those goals down, and they will be attracted to you energetically as you continue to make these beautiful, beautiful mindset shifts. It's not easy work. It takes a lot of really being honest with yourself and where you're at, and a lot of self-awareness to bring in $15,000 a month. Holy crap. Yeah. Sometimes we talk about these months, and it's like, I used to teach for 40 hours plus 20 hours of extracurricular for like $2,900 a month after all my things were removed, like 15K a month. It's amazing. So congratulations. I hope you celebrate big time this year.
Thank you. And thank you for everything you did in Self Made. And if you haven't taken it yet, go sign up.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.